This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro Insight for the 2023 Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. The full moon takes place on May 5th, 2023 at 10:33 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 1:33 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 5:33 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, at 14 degrees Taurus, 58 minutes, 14 degrees Scorpio, 58 minutes. Been tense lately? Have your worst fears been stirring? Have you been seeing monsters crawling out from under the bed, the closet, the back rooms of power? Are you ready to flush certain dramas and situations out of your life? Phenomenal release is on the way. You have been experiencing the build-up to May's Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. It's got the triple strength action of the usual high emotionality of a full moon, amplified by the intensity and power of Scorpio and the intensity and volatility of an eclipse. This moon is escalating, reshaping, and in some cases shutting down issues that have been demanding attention for the past 2 years of eclipses on the Taurus-Scorpio axis. This polarity deals with resources, and particularly the dichotomy of possession versus control. Lunar eclipses bring departures, revelations eventually, chapter endings. This one is rife with secrets, scandals, fears, toxicity, obsessions, corruption, and high-stakes power games. Many feel like they can't go on much longer, filling the atmosphere with an end of an era feel. And something is definitely coming to a close. For starters, this eclipse cycle. We are at the next to last eclipse in this cycle, which ends with October's Taurus full moon lunar eclipse. As the cycle winds down, this month's is stirring and providing a radically different perspective on many a drama that crested at last November's lunar eclipse in Taurus. The two events are bookends, occurring near the same degrees, but with the sun and moon reversing positions. The instability of quick change artist Uranus factors into the link between current developments and ones from late last year. Uranus was retrograde and conjunct the moon at November's lunar eclipse. Watch for a number of situations from then to change direction, because the agent of unpredictable change is now direct and opposite the moon. Flip-flopping has already been happening. Uranus recently returned to and has now moved beyond the degree he occupied at the November eclipse. This has been playing out in the news, with a few state-level politicians who were elected in November recently changing parties and giving their new parties supermajority power. Expect the switcheroo trend to accelerate in other areas as well. This could show up as flipping or breaking your emotional investment in a situation. There's a conscious intellectual streak, too, as well as a sense of clearing space for the future. This comes from the moon's opposition to retrograde Mercury, itself conjunct the North Node. The sun, representing our rational side, is sandwiched between the Mercury North Node conjunction and Uranus, jolting our sense of selves and our thinking and opening us up to new relationships with money, resources, and power. This full moon's lineup is a superb formula for breaking attachments, habits, or addictions, emotional as well as chemical. Much of the action will simply occur, but you can certainly engage in some deliberate releasing as well. Beyond the usual tactic of cleaning out closets and drawers and putting bags at the curb, one potent ritual would be visualizing situations and energies flowing from you into a toilet with the lid up, and then closing the lid to prevent any symbolic backsplash, and flushing. Consciously or not, We are all dumping gunk and making room for the next phase of life, more dramatically and more exhaustively than appearances may suggest. This end of an era experience is fraught with hints of what's to come. Scorpio's ruler Pluto is at the doorway to the next 21 years at 0 degrees Aquarius. He retrogrades just days before the eclipse and is in an out-of-sign square to expansive Jupiter, finishing his year in Aries and not quite 2 weeks away from entering Taurus and completing the square. Their impact encourages over-the-top dramas and big, bold responses. Watch for widespread recognition of previous ways no longer cutting it and widespread adoption of radically different approaches. That is an imperative wired into this full moon by a T-square to Pluto from the nodes, pitting the old against the future and requiring metamorphosis. The imperative has a long fuse. It doesn't have to be honored at once, and in fact, cannot be. It gets another power up when Jupiter moves into Taurus and completes his square to Pluto May 17, and then again each time Pluto returns to 0 degrees Aquarius over the next year and a half. The upshot? You don't have to pour everything out at once. You don't have to clean everything out at once. And don't expect that from collective developments either. Release in pulses. Although, right now, you're probably motivated to engage in a huge outpouring. And then loosen your grip on anything that is leaving or falling away. We are on a trajectory to a major wrapping up, which takes greater and greater shape by October. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. Visit my site, empowermentunlimited.net, to sign up for my mailing list, listen to my weekly podcasts, and book a session with me. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited and the group The Astro Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, including an introduction to Pluto in Aquarius, and I'm deeply grateful to the people who support my work there. I'm on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel.